Let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go three abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
Often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the world of Outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again. It is Wing Nation, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you joined us. Steve Post alongside Erin Evernham. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. I am really, really good. Now I get to see sprint cars.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got the weekend off from that real job, right?
Got the weekend off from the real job, so I went and saw sprint cars, so I'm good. I'm tuned up. I'm ready to go. So it is good. I was just thinking about this. How many championships do we have represented with our guest here with Brad Sweet and Ricky Warner?
Quite a few.
Holy cow. We have got quite a few championships. So that's what we're doing here today. Brad Sweet and Ricky Warner. How about that?
Sure. It's quite
Pretty
the lineup.
stout right there, ain't it?
Sure is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, this is Wing Nation. I mentioned I did go see some sprint car racing. Carolina Sprint Tour is our local 305 series, Race Saver 305 series. And they opened their season up over at Harris Speedway, a track I'd never been to, in Rutherfordton, which is about an hour.
Oh my gosh, you were right by the horse show.
Oh, I should have come up.
And if I knew there was sprint cars up the road, I would have.
Oh my gosh, yes.
How did I not put two and two together?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we
it
were
was
in
right
Tryon, just down the road.
Oh, Tryon, yeah, you're not that far from me. So, it was great. It was the Carolina Sprint Tour season opener. This is, and I think I mentioned this last week. They've done a really nice job with this. Sean Vardell is overseeing it, and he's done a really nice job with it. And they've been a little bit all over the map with, 5 shows at Carolina and here and there.
Yeah.
And I think it looks like to me, and I haven't really talked to Sean about it, but there's 15 races this year, which seems very manageable for these mom and pop teams, these small teams. But they actually have a race in Smoky Mountain, Tennessee, Livonia, Georgia. And so it's less races, but a little bit more destination places branching out. And, so Harris Speedway, I think Harris has had multiple dates. They have their one and only date. And it was a great night of racing. Steve Cerniak. You know Steve?
Name sounds
He's
familiar,
from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. He's been down here forever. He's run 360s. He's just a really, really good guy. Steve Cerniak picked up the win. He's going to be tough to handle this year in that tour. He's a 2008 champion, 2014. He's won the championship. No, it wasn't 2008. He's won the championship in the past. Might have been 2018. That might be it. He's won the championship in the past, and he's been running some 360s and trying to do this and trying to do that, but he's got himself a ride with the 305s, and he picked up the win. Just a great night of racing.
Awesome.
Just great. So I love our Carolina Sprint Tour fans and friends. I like us, and I've stated this so many times over and over again. There's so much good sprint car racing. Yes, Wing Nation, we focus on 410 sprint car racing. And because that's the Mac Daddy of them all. That's the big, but 360, 358s in Pennsylvania and 305s, man, there's great racing out there and great racers doing it. So it was awesome. It really was. I watched something unfold this weekend, and I don't know if you caught it or not. Atomic Speedway, okay? They had bad weather Saturday night, okay? You know how we get into the debate. Oh, they should have canceled. No, they should have raced. Oh, they should have canceled. Oh, they should have raced. Okay, Charlie Vest and Dave Anders are the guys running it there. And said, all right, folks, Sunday forecast looks fine. If we sell 1,000 tickets online, we'll race on Sunday. Well, all of those, they should have raced, or they should have used Sunday rain date, didn't buy tickets. Didn't put their money where their mouth was. I think I heard they sold, Justin Feeder said they sold over 500 tickets, which is good, which is great.
Yeah.
But they opted not to do it. I just think that we live in a world where so many people have so many things to say. You got a lot of things to say. You think tomorrow's a great day to race, then buy your tickets now.
Yeah. Put your money where your
mouth is. And I love that they did that. I love where we're at in our society now, in our world. I love that Lincoln jumped onto that Thursday night.
Yeah.
And got a highly successful. Yes, some guys were not able to go, and some people it was inconvenient for. Yes. But do you just prefer to sit and wait for 7 o'clock on Saturday night and cancel every race if it rains? I mean,
Yeah.
I love that they did that. I was fascinated when they did it, and I think that's what it was in Pennsylvania this weekend.
Yeah.
Port should have canceled, they shouldn't have canceled. BAP should have canceled, they shouldn't have canceled. Lincoln should have canceled, they shouldn't have canceled. Everyone's screaming and hollering. I like what they did at Atomic. It's like, you want to scream and holler? Well, you want to race? You want a Sunday rain date? Buy a ticket. Well, people start talking with their credit cards, then maybe they speak a little bit louder than they do on Twitter. So I love that they do it. I think this is part of where we're at as a sport, to innovate, to move, to be flexible, and to try things. Lord knows. They might have sold 1,500 tickets.
Yep.
And everyone might have been like, oh, my God, we're going to do that the rest of the time. We don't know until you try it. And I love that Atomic tried it. I actually have a trip to Atomic later on this year. I can't wait to get up there and see what they're doing. It's been a couple of years, and it's on my docket for their Ohio Speed Week show. And I love going up there. Who doesn't love Chillicothe, Ohio? I mean, Danny Smith's hometown.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
You can get some Skyline while you're
I'll
up there.
get some. That's right, Craig Morrow, Skyline Chili up there.
Yep.
Exactly. Man, I forgot about that, Gregor. Oh no, I've been on really good behavior with my eating, other than my Burger Madness stuff.
Well,
I was going to
here's what
say,
you
wait
do.
a second. I saw a few meals that looked
Well,
pretty
no.
good recently.
We've got. Okay, now we're way off on a tangent here. We got to keep rolling here. But in Cabarrus County, they're doing this thing called Burger Madness, where they have 15 restaurants are doing a burger contest.
Oh.
It's stupid. I mean, this is dumb how good this is. And my daughter and I, we've done 4 of them or something like that. But they're like extreme. Like the one yesterday was Aces, which is over here by Concord Mills, and there's an egg over the top of it,
Yum.
a soft-boiled egg over top of it. I mean, just stupid.
On your way to Ohio.
Okay, I'm away. What do I need to do here?
In West Virginia, Tudor's Biscuit World.
Tudor's Biscuit World. Oh, you've told me about that.
Yes,
Okay.
Tudor's Biscuit World.
I need to remember that, because I usually will stop like somewhere and do a regular biscuit, and then I go drive by Tudor's, and I'm like, oh, there's the one in Krager, because there's one right along 77 there. I see it.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
there's
see
a
it.
few of them.
Yes. Okay.
A number of them.
Tudor's Biscuit World.
Then Ohio Skyline, of course, and while you're there, and I know Chillicothe has one, a UDF shake.
Oh, no, I've done UDF shakes.
Oh, yeah.
I've done
Oh,
UDF
yeah.
shakes.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
UDF
You
shakes.
kidding me?
I've done
Aaron, come
UDF
on. You've
shakes.
had UDF shakes, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Sure, I know. I have no
UDF
idea.
shakes.
United Dairy
Again,
Farm.
UDF shakes are awesome. Former producer Brian Nelson here. We're sipping on UDF shakes. Were you there, Craig, for that one?
I was there.
Says you could almost taste the cow, and it was like,
Oh.
yeah, I know. That really wasn't a compliment of the UDF shakes.
Yeah.
But we're laughing in the car. We were dying in the car. I thought you were there, Craig. Okay, there's food talk here on Wing Nation. So good stuff. So back to Atomic. I'm excited. Get up to Chillicothe. Last time I was in Chillicothe, I drank beer with Tim Schaefer until way too late in the
Oh,
morning.
gosh.
So imagine there. There's a shocker,
Speaking
too.
Aliquippa.
Speaking Aliquippa. Yes, we were all speaking Aliquippa that
Was he
night.
mentoring you?
He
Remember?
Was, yes, exactly. That's
Yeah,
right.
Jacob.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mentoring.
Yeah,
yes.
he was talking about how he was mentoring. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Tim
Schafer's
Schafer's
your mentor?
mentoring someone?
Yeah, exactly.
Love him dearly, but
Yeah. Mentor. Good stuff. So we'll see what happens. Chillicothe, Ohio, Atomic. Craig, you can just edit out the last 5 minutes of bantering, not about sprint car talk. We'll be just fine. After racing, product, hot topics, World of Outlaw, NOS, energy drink, sprint cars, Friday night Talladega short track, Buddy Kofoid. Not a shocker.
no.
That young man is going to be in victory lane a lot this
Yes.
year. Buddy Kofoid, Brad Sweet, Spencer Baston. Saturday, Magnolia, Mississippi, Brad Sweet, David Gravel, Sheldon Hodenshield. 80th career win for Brad. 80 career wins. The only 3 guys that have gotten to 80 wins faster, Sammy, Steve, and Doug.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go last names with those 3.
No. You're in pretty damn good company.
You're in damn good company with that. We're going to talk to Brad. Pennsylvania, Lincoln, Chase Dietz has a new team, new program this year, and he won at Lincoln on Saturday. And Anthony Macri, with his new crew chief, picked up the win. Is it Mooney? Joe Mooney, I think it is. He used to be at KKR's car chief.
Mm-hmm.
And so Anthony Macri got his first win of the season. So, and Sprint Car Challenge Tour, Placerville, Justin Sanders got a second Placerville win in a row. So there you have it. Our Hefner Racing product, hot topics. HRP Wings are the original recessed rivet wing manufacturer. They use wind tunnel and track performance testing to outpace industry and design, innovation, and functionality.
And they're not only for sprint cars, but lightning sprints, micros, and junior sprints. And they can ship across the world and be economically ground shipped to your door.
www.hrpracing.com. That's hrpracing.com. Stay with us. When we come back, the Big Cat, Brad Sweet, he joins us next. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at dirtempiremagazine.com.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation. Let's go to the Sage Fruit Hotline. Joining us fresh off from that trip to Victory Lane at Magnolia, Mississippi, the 4-time World of Outlaw champ, the Big Cat, or as my buddy Uncle Skate will say, El Gato Grande. That's what he calls him, El Gato Grande. Uncle Skate, Brad Sweet joins us. Hello, Brad. How are you?
Oh, thanks. I think Uncle Skate's more famous than me nowadays. Seems like he's everywhere and his stickers are everywhere. So. Yeah, we always got to give him a hard time.
He is, man. It's Uncle Skate is like Scott Philistine, I think is his real name. He is Brad's #1 fan, and I love when I go to a race and he's there. It is really, really cool. And I would dare say that Uncle Skate and Brad and everybody else in Sweet Nation are happy. Congratulations getting that first win of the season. It had to be nice to get that done on Saturday night, Brad.
Yeah, it was. It's good. Obviously, to get the first Outlaw win out of the way. We started strong at Volusia and got an all-star win down there, and then never was able to get back to Victory Lane. And so you're always striving to get the first one and build some momentum and confidence with the race team. So it seems like the last few weeks we've had a pretty good balance, and had some things go our way too. But the car's starting to feel better and better, and we're starting to make really good changes with the car. So excited to get racing. Hopefully, we just keep getting some good weather and we can get some races in and build some more momentum.
Brad, that was your 80th World of Outlaw win, and I know as a driver you're always more worried about the wins in the future. But when you take a second to reflect on that, how cool is that when there's only 3 other drivers that have gotten to that number quicker, and that's Steve, Sammy, and Doug. Just talk about when you kind of just take a step back and look and think about that, what it means to you.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you don't, like I've always said, like the stats and stuff, you just, like when you're in the moment, you just don't realize it, So like, when something like that pops up, it's kind of like, wow, and then you do a little reflecting, like you kind of look at the list and go through all the wins and, kind of think about those nights that, all the good nights that you had. And it sure does remind you, why you do it. It's gratifying, all the grinding and hard work and sacrifice, to kind of see those stats. And, those memories created and, everything that we've been able to accomplish. We set a lot of high goals for our race team and KKR and Napa Auto Parts. And so just looking at all that, it's just very gratifying. It's cool. We're certainly not done yet, but, it's a great milestone. And anytime that you start getting mentioned, alongside Steve or Sammy or Doug Wolfgang, I mean, obviously those are just absolute legends of our sport. And, it's pretty crazy. I never really thought my name would be anywhere near any of those guys. So not that we are, but certainly cool to get to 80. It doesn't feel like a short amount of time, but the fact that we were able to do it in the 4th shortest amount of time is pretty cool.
It is really, really neat. That's for sure. And keep building. Keep building. And if you're not there, you're going to be in that same category. Brad, you just mentioned the last couple of weeks that you felt really good about your race car. Coincidentally, the last couple of weeks, there's been this new tire, and you're kind of our first veteran driver. We had Devin Borden on last week. We talked a little bit about him. He's a younger driver. You're our first veteran driver with this new tire. Now you've got 3 races under your belt. What's your take on it? It seems like it's working well, but what's your read on the new tire?
Yeah, I mean, I just, certainly I paid Hoosier a lot of money to, give these tires exactly how I wanted them. So it's nice to see it paying off. But
wow, man, oh man! Steve, Doug, and Sammy couldn't call Hoosier and give him the right compound, Brad. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you got to stir the pot a little here, but no, it's you never know when something like this happens, like when a new tire comes out or a new brand or. And I've been through a little bit of it. We went through good years, and I remember, always trying to find a balance. And then when we go to Australia, there's some different tires with American racers, and Hoosier has kind of a different build tire down there. So we certainly didn't know what we were going to get. It's still very early on in the process, but it certainly fit what I like so far, and the feel I'm trying to get. I've been able to get. A lot quicker, and a lot of stuff that I want my race car to do. It's making a lot of sense to me. So I think there's just, it's something where I have a lot of experience. My race team has a lot of experience. So I think we're able to adapt, maybe a touch quicker than some of the younger teams or less experienced teams and drivers. So, I think it's just, to me, it's brought the driver back into it a little bit more. I think there's more finesse. You really have to get your car balanced right. And you see when a car is unbalanced, it's extremely hard to drive. And you can see the drivers really, struggling to get a hold of the racetrack. So I think there's a lot of factors there. And, I certainly, like the challenge. I like that that we kind of stirred the pot a little bit. I think when we stay on the same tire and same compound for, 8-9 years like we have, I think everyone gets so refined with their setups and, just the way that they're able to always, counter whatever's happening, through driving or whatnot. I think it just made it really hard to pass. It made it hard to, get your car better than the next guy. So, I think it's healthy. I think it's good. And, I think there's a long way to go. I think there's going to be guys that, certainly will keep figuring it out and keep getting better. And hopefully, we can kind of stay, towards the forefront of that group.
Brad, when you mentioned it puts a little bit more control in the driver's seat and it takes a little bit more finesse, you mean like, obviously the car has to have good balance, you have to find it, but does that more throttle control, hitting your lines just perfect? What do you mean when you say it requires the driver to have a little bit more finesse?
Well, I don't want to give away all my secrets, but yeah, I think you kind of, nailed it. It's just it's all the detail stuff.
Yeah.
I think that certain tires and certain tracks, it's more about just, running more throttle. And I think certainly these tires seem to be happier, maybe off throttle and definitely getting your car, a lot more balanced. And, if you're just a little bit off, it seems like you're a lot off compared to what it used to be. So you'll see guys, really struggling where, we could be off a little bit with the old tires and it seemed like, maybe they'll just kind of be able to figure it out or whatever. But it definitely seems different now. And I think, it's gonna definitely come down to the guys really getting their cars right more often. And I think you're going to see more passing and people will be able to drive through the field. I think you already can kind of see that with kind of what David Gravel did the other night and what some other guys have been able to do. So yeah, it's a change, and I don't think it's a bad change for sure.
Neat stuff, that's for sure. You mentioned about you and your guys and some veteran experience able to get your car together. You and Eric have a number of years together, all those championships together. So it's really a kind of a weird two-part question. How important is that as you guys roll along to have that chemistry? And yet, I'm asking about chemistry, but you did lose your car chief. Joe Mooney went over and is now working with Anthony Macri. You brought in Ty Wolfgang. How important is chemistry, but then bringing new people in? How are you balancing all of that, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, I think Eric's the leader of our team and has been, since he's gotten there and he's gained the experience with me. So, he understands me as a person, me as a driver, and how to, keep working on things. He's, attention to details and he has a lot of experience. So, I think that's the main key is Eric is, running the team. And so when we lose Joe, obviously, and he deserved the opportunity to go do something, next chapter for him as a crew chief. And, so we're happy for him. And obviously we obviously worked together a long time, so we thought he deserved that opportunity. And Ty's kind of the next, he's a younger guy. He spent a year with KKR on Casey's car, and it was a good opportunity for him to bring him over. So he's kind of already groomed a little bit. And then, with Eric's leadership and then, my experience, and then obviously Andrew has been with me since 2018 too. So, to keep two people with me as long as we have, I mean, it's just a very well-oiled machine. So it's a lot easier to replace the one missing link that we're missing. But, I think it just comes down to we've just, been through so many scenarios and had so much experience. I mean, before me, it was, Eric had worked under Ricky Warner with Donnie Schatz and, at TSR, and, he's done some other things. So, it's a lot of experience for two guys, and this sport certainly experience, knowledge, just keeping your cool, in certain situations. I mean, all that stuff adds up, and, when you win championships, certainly validates everything you're doing. So you gain a lot of confidence, and we've been able to kind of carry that through. And obviously, when you win and start winning, and, that just, when you're a good team, it certainly just kind of compounds and helps us gain more momentum. And obviously, hopefully we can win a lot of races this year.
No doubt. Something experienced, something veteran, you, Eric, and Andrew and that team. Something new 2 weeks from tonight is the kickoff of the High Limit Series. Of course, there was a race last year. Tulare got away from you guys as far as that goes. Brad, we had you on Wing Nation. We talked about this. There was a lot of drama. There's a lot of angst. There's a lot of hand-wringing and everything. Okay, we're all set on what the policies, what the rules, what the World of Outlaws done, what you guys did. As you're sitting here now 2 weeks out from the High Limits race, Lakeside, one of the big 50-plus grand win races, just kind of your take on how this thing has evolved, the field of cars, and where you guys are at now as we're getting closer and closer to this tour kicking off.
It's exciting, yeah. I mean, it's. I think there's a lot of, a lot of talk, but at the end of the day, I think it's just, it's something that we're trying to do, to add to sprint car racing, and it's exciting to start to see it come to life. It's a lot of work behind the scenes, a lot of working with promoters and trying to build these events, and the rules and all the administrative type stuff, is tricky, and we have certainly, a lot of interest from race teams, and that's really exciting. That kind of validates what we're doing, the fact that we're getting so much support. So it's going to be fun to keep announcing our driver lineup. I think it's going to be, pretty surprising how many teams we have signed up and how many teams are going to follow our tour. So, I think it's healthy for sprint car racing to have a little competition to, hopefully, build these purses up and give these drivers and teams, a little extra money to race for. We're certainly excited, and we just want to put on great shows. And, middle of the week to pay $50,000 to win at Lakeside, I think it's a really exciting and fun event. Shane Stewart's involved, Trackhouse Racing's involved. The Lakeside Speedway has been a great, partner as well. So, Kyle and I are very excited, and can't wait to get there. We'll be racing. Then all our family will be there, supporting on the promotion side, and obviously we hope we have a great crowd and get it kicked off with some momentum here.
Okay, and did you say you're racing in that one? Did you say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's one of your.
I kind of feel like.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's one of your. That's one of your to choose.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I kind of feel like the 50,000 to wins are going to be the kind of the no-brainers of when you're going to get those really stout elite, cars to show up, and with every, basically everyone kind of coming together for a midweek show, it'll be pretty exciting, I think, to watch for a fan for sure.
I agree with you, and I'm so pumped about what you guys are going to have. I actually may be able to catch Kyle Larson's plane and get to some of the races. I'm working on that detail and I'm so excited about it. I really am. You talk about a lot of drivers getting involved, and this is the final question for you. But when Justin Marks, Trackhouse Racing, and Shane Stewart say they want to be involved in too. That's more industry types. I know Shane is a driver, former driver, but when industry types like that get to be, that's got to feel like a pretty good endorsement as well, Brad.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think our concept and what we're trying to do has been well received. Obviously, Trackhouse Racing and Shane Stewart, and then, even at, Sheldon Hoddenchild getting involved. And there's been many other drivers that, are exploring this other option. So, we want drivers to learn more about the business. We want them to, maximize their likeness if they want to, be associated with an event at their local track or help support, their local region. We're all about those types of things. So, at the end of the day, it's all about coming together and trying to put on, really compelling, exciting races. That's the goal of the High Limit, is to basically push the purses up, make sprint car racing as big and as fun as possible. And, it definitely validates it when we get the support that we've gotten from, across the board. There's been very little pushback, and, I understand maybe the other side doesn't love exactly what we're doing, but at the end of the day, we're definitely trying to make sprint car racing bigger and better.
Boy, there's a lot of racers going to be racing for a lot of money this year. That's for sure, and that's not a bad thing for sure. Brad, congratulations on the win at Magnolia, and as always, we do appreciate your time, your insight, your candor. We always love chatting with you. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hopefully we chat a lot this year. Thanks.
Let's plan on it. There we go. That is the big cat, Brad Sweet, joining us fresh off from that win at Magnolia. When we come back, we're going to go to the other side of the equation. Well, the other side of the driver crew chief equation, that is. Ricky Warner, he joins us next. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway, when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum's newest exhibit will be our track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway inside the museum's main floor from April 3rd through October 2nd this year. You'll learn about the beginning of Williams Grove Speedway and the evolution of sprint car racing on the East Coast through 8 of the iconic big cars and sprint cars that made up the history of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania's Williams Grove Speedway. Plus, you'll see videos of historic National Open sprint car races and other racing events that put Williams Grove on the map. That's the track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway, featured April 3rd through October 2nd at the only museum in the world solely dedicated to sprint car racing, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa.
Wing Nation continues on. Let's get right back to the Sage Fruit Hotline. A week ago, we talked about Rico Abreu picking up that win up at Lincoln Speedway. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car wins. We tried to get Rico. We tried to get his crew chief, Ricky Warner. The schedules were out of sync as far as that goes, but Rick said, hey, let's do it next week, and here we are. Next week, joining us, crew chief for Rico Abreu, the great Ricky Warner joins us. Hello, Ricky. How are you?
Good. Glad to be here.
Good to chat with you. Had to be really, really cool to go up there to Lincoln last week with your young driver, second year on the program for you and Rico, and to take it to the Outlaws and to the Posse. Had to be a pretty good afternoon for you guys.
Yeah, you don't know what to expect being the first night, and everything went pretty smooth, and had a little luck in the feature, and still was able to finish. And after getting in an incident with Freddie and then picking up the win. So it was a pretty good night for the first night out.
Yeah, I'd say. Ricky, what has the transition been like after all your success with Donnie to move to Rico's program, but to not have to run a full schedule like you used to? Just talk about the transition and working with Rico after all those years with one driver.
I mean, for me personally, it just takes some pressure off.
Mm-hmm.
And for what I got going on in my life right now, that's a better deal for me. Racing with Rico is it's completely different than racing with Don. He has a different way he wants to feel, and when you get him right on his feel, he does really good. Just like most guys, they just have a different feel for each guy, what he wants to feel or how he wants to drive or his style. So just still working on getting caught up with him on what I need to be doing to, to help him, because I can't always, do everything I'm used to doing and throw new tires in the whole mix. Some of the stuff you did just doesn't look right anymore. So everybody's kind of searching to get that feel back, or, get your consistency back, where every night you're starting from, your base point that you usually start in your setup and then go from there. So everybody's that's a moving target right now for a lot of guys. So.
Yeah, I want to talk about the tires here in a little bit, but I do want to follow up a little bit. Rico and Donnie, drastically different? Are there some similarities? Are they very close to each other? How do you compare the two drivers that you're building these cars for?
Just like a generic thing between the two of them. Don kind of likes a tighter feel, and Rico kind of, I wouldn't say looser. He just likes to roll a lot more. Like his style's a little bit different, and he has some limitations with compared to a taller person with longer arms. There's a lot of stuff he deals with that for a long time I didn't know that, but once you start racing with him, then there's just different things you got to do to make it easier for him, where other guys don't seem to bother them very much. So, and when you get him right, he does everything right, and Saturday night proved that at Lincoln, so he did a really good job. And Zach Middlebrooks and Brady Forbrook, they did a good job, so it was a good night for everybody.
Yeah, Rico certainly is a wheelman. I wanted to ask you, Ricky, after all those years of running the full tour, being on the road, being around it, and I know you, I've known you a long time, you live, eat, and breathe thinking sprint car racing and how to make the car faster. Is it different not being at the racetrack as often and being at the shop more?
I mean, from the racing standpoint, you want to be racing all the time, so you can, just be better at your setups, or your routine gets better and stuff like that. I think, I don't know anybody on the Outlaw Tour that wouldn't want to just pick and choose. I think that's what everybody wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
If they could do it. That said, a lot of it, when you sign up for the tour, there's benefits of that, and that's part of getting the benefits. You have to run all the races. So it's definitely a little easier when you don't have to do everything, but we're still racing, a lot of outlaw races, some high limit stuff, all stars. We'll hit it all. So that to me is fun after doing, 20 some years of just doing the outlaw deal. So it's a different way to do it. And I think you enjoy it more.
Yeah. I kind of like the sounds of that. That's for sure. Let's talk a little bit about it. We talked to Brad Sweet before you were on the show, and he has adapted very quickly and very well to the new tire. What are the characteristics of this tire? You're 3 races into it with you and Rico. What have you learned about it? What are some similarities? What are differences? What types of things can you tell us about this new Hoosier tire?
I think everybody just has a freer feel. A lot of guys like them, and some of the older mechanics, I think they like you get to work on your car again as far as stuff you do during the night to get, hooked to the racetrack. The other tire, you're always kind of tight all the time, so you had to run your car a certain way that it, the driver could drive it in traffic and didn't get tight. But it seems like you can go back and do some old school stuff where you can wind corners that for a couple of years you haven't been able to really touch because you just get too tight. So, I think, and it makes it fun for everybody. I think when they change something like this, it kind of shakes everything up a little bit. The guys with the most experience and can drive with their foot and stuff, when stuff changes, that they're usually the guys that rise to the top. So I think, everybody has to make the change. So it's just been fun trying to figure out, what else you can do.
Ricky, as far as the tires go, what is the biggest difference? The right rear tire is a harder compound. Is it? I know the sidewalls are a little bit different. What do you see as making the biggest difference?
I as far as talking to Neil, they moved some spring rate around, guys. The right rear that we've been running kind of runs folded under the car a lot, and that didn't have, guys don't have a secure feel or they can't feel the right rear. The left rear probably had a little bit more spring rate in it where it was hard to get down at certain places, or you just had to run stuff different. Now it's just, the left rear consensus in the pits from guys talking is left rear gets down easier, and you can run in further with your right rear and do stuff to make your car tighter because the right rear is more forgiving. So that's, as far as I know, that's the only change right now. I don't know if the compounds are much different, but I know the construction's different and the tread pattern's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw a video piece that that the World of Outlaws put out, and they showed a bunch of that. It was fascinating to see it. It really, truly was. Ricky, where are you guys based out of? Where's the team based out of? Where do you work from? Where's home base for you guys, other than some hotel parking lot?
When we're not on the road, we're in Brownsburg, Indiana, at Joe Saldana's complex. We're actually in Joey's old shop, and it's about 2 miles from the house, so it makes everything really good.
Nice.
So I've been watching Rico's new YouTube page and all these videos. How do you like being the one of the stars on the old YouTube channel?
There's so much stuff going on there during the day with him and, with the team. So you just kind of roll with everything. Sometimes you don't even know he's making videos, but he's just doing his thing and the guys are working. So it makes for good entertainment at the shop.
I am sure it does. Rico and good entertainment kind of go hand in hand as far as that go. Final question for you, Rick. How are you doing? I know you've scared us a few times with some health issues and stuff like that. How's the battle going? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going. Everything's stable now, and nothing's really growing. They got me on immunotherapy. I do it twice a day. I have to take pills, and 3 times a week, or every 3 weeks, I have to do an infusion. So you just plan it with the schedule, and it doesn't really affect me as far as working or anything. It's just you have to keep doing what they tell you to do. But other than that, I feel good and want to go racing and having fun right now.
We love it. We're glad to hear that. That is for sure. Always a pleasure to chat. Love seeing you guys win that race up at Lincoln. Ricky, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation. We'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
There we go. Hashtag TrickyRicky717. Rick, and budding YouTube star, too.
Yeah. Have you watched any of the videos?
I have not. Yeah. I saw Rico's doing it, and I was sent down to look at one of them, and something happened, one of the kids text or something like that, and I didn't get it. Rico is just the best.
He really is. And believe it or not, during these videos, Ricky's always working on the car.
Imagine that. Now, that's not a shocker at all. I want to jump on to one thing real quick here. Brad Sweet says this tire is putting it more into the driver's hand. Ricky Warner says, I think old school mechanics are going to like it because they have to work on their car to get it. That, to me, sounds like a win-win.
Yeah, great combination.
Sounds like a great combination for sure. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at DirtEmpireMagazine.com.
Our Hall of Fame and Museum birthday calendar. Kind of a quiet week today. Hank Arnold and J. Gordon Betts. J. Gordon Betts, class of 2002, born in 1918. His father, Fred Doc Betts, was the track superintendent at Los Angeles Motor Speedway. Aaron, that was one of those board tracks.
So cool.
The board tracks were just awesome.
Amazing and crazy.
Crazy. Exactly. Gordon started working the pit window at Legion Ascot Speedway at 15 years old. So the 15-year-old was telling kids 15-year-old, you can't race because you're not 16 years old. By 17, he was a chief steward apprentice for the Auto Club of America. Is it AAA, Auto Club of America? I think that's what it is. By 23, he's overseeing the tour and ultimately the West Coast. In 1955, AAA left racing. Betts moved over to USAC. For 11 years, he was the chairman of the ACCUS, the Automotive Competition Committee of the United States. A great and storied career in the management of motorsports. Forever enshrined at the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Passed away in 2009, but you can learn all about him and so much more at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum out in Knoxville, Iowa. This weekend, World of Outlaws, back to where it all started, Aaron. Devil's Bowl Speedway, the Texas Outlaw Nationals. We talked to Terry Gray on for our Sage Fruit show yesterday. Terry was at that race, finished 20th in that race.
Oh, that's cool.
And he talked about
Terry.
being in a parking lot with Ted Johnson telling about his vision for the World of Outlaws.
Neat.
Yeah. I'm the folks, the Terry Gray show on MAV TV. Make sure you stay to the last answer, because the last answer about had all of us bawling our eyes out.
No.
So Terry is great. So the Outlaws return to Texas. NARC King of the West Series, they kick off their year with the Asparagus Cup. Tony Nassetti is the track promoter at Stockton. He's also an asparagus farmer. And this weekend is the Asparagus Festival at the San Joaquin County Fairgrounds, where the track is. So why not have an Asparagus Cup
I like
race?
it.
I had, when I went out there, I flew up with Tony Stewart from Auto Club Speedway, and Gary Selzy walks up to me. Of course, when Gary Selzy walks up to you, you know you're into something, and he hands me this bundle of asparagus. And I'm like, why is Gary Selzy handing me? Tony had dropped off baskets and baskets of asparagus, big cardboard boxes of asparagus, and Gary was just sharing it with everybody. And so asparagus was outstanding. So the Asparagus Cup is this weekend. ASCS National Tour, Jackson, Mississippi, kicking it off with 2 nights of racing. Williams Grove, fingers crossed. Attica, fingers crossed. Lincoln, Port, St. Francis County, Wayne County, Bridgeport races on Sunday. It is going to be awesome weekend. And our Wing Nation program presented by Sage Fruit, Wednesday night on Rev, Friday afternoon. And remember that new time, Friday afternoon, 12:30. Terry Gray joined us, and he was, in a word, awesome. He talked about, I didn't even realize this. Terry was the youngest mechanic to be a championship-winning crew chief for the World of Outlaws.
Think
with
I
Sammy.
did know, yeah.
With
yeah.
Sammy, with the Nance car. And then he talked about how midway through the next year, traveling up and down the road with the same people could get a little old and he wanted to go back to driving. I'm thinking to myself, well, Sammy's not intense or anything. So, but no, it was great. It was our visit. You've got to check it out this weekend. Really good stuff. We appreciate you joining us here on the regular program as well. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can find our stuff at shopwingnation.com. That's shopwingnation.com, or wherever Justin Peck and the Buick Motorsports teams go. Sky has got a great big batch of new apparel, and it is awesome. So fun stuff, that is for sure. We appreciate Brad Sweet and Ricky Warner joining us. Man, I'll tell you, they are just really good dudes. I love that we get a chance to talk to them, and I love that we get a chance to talk to you, our sprint car fans. She's Erin Evernham. I'm Steve Post. Thanks for joining us this week here on Wing Nation.